dude.
rough.
Yeah, I mean Dalton's legitimately like pushing the brink of human capability. Like that, you can't get a lot more jacked than he is.
Yeah, no, I don't know him like very well, but when I saw him, I was like, oh god.
Yeah. Did you
Tank.
did you work with him at all? Like even just roll with him? Or
No,
anything?
he only came in one. He only came in. Like I said, we were about a week out, and that was it. But
Yeah. It's cool that he stopped in to work though.
yeah, I
Somebody
think
like
he's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I assume. Yeah. He came in stout and worked with us a little
Nice. I like how Stout gets everybody. Like Matt Factory comes down. Like I just see a bunch of different gyms training at Stout.
bit. Yeah, the cross training's awesome. That was like one thing that I really liked about the Pittsburgh area when I moved here. Is like, it's like in Columbus, like it really only stayed with the Immortal guys, but when I moved to Pittsburgh, it was like every Saturday the gyms kind of all meet in one area and train. I was like, what?
And it's such a nice gym. Like that location's perfect for it.
Oh, the facilities are insane.
Yeah.
I mean everything. It's a Division I facility for fighting.
Nice.
Like, that's what it is.
I like putting it that way. That's
Yeah.
cool. Is Zealy? I've never been to the Zealy location. Is it just as nice as the Strip?
It's not
Different?
It's not as big, but
Okay.
it's just as nice. It's more like the old like garage setup. They have a bigger sauna, which is really nice. Just for like even after practice, just to, like sit in the sauna for recovery. It's super nice, and there's a bunch of mats. I go to Zealy Tuesdays, but mostly I'm in the Strip.
Gotcha. But you live in Cranberry Township, right?
Yeah,
So-
Zealy's like.
I was gonna say that's a longer drive
15
just to
minutes
go
away.
to the other one, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like I really like working with Will.
Mm.
He's always in the Strip, especially for my striking. Will's in the Strip. The coaches kind of like branch out to all. They have about to have 4 gyms now, so like they branch out to all different places, and
Nice. I loved in your last fight at Braunberg 14. Like Will was so just smiley the entire time. Like every time Will worked with you and like came in between rounds, he was just smiling. Like he looked like he was having the time of his life as well.
Dude, Will smiles 95% of the time he's alive. Dude, that dude just got the life. Him and Mike. I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like, dude, their life's sick.
Yeah.
They just go in, train, like
Goals.
teach a little bit, and like go in, coach their fight. They're boys basically.
Mhm.
Like it's pretty nice. But yeah, Will's always got that smile on his face. I didn't listen to the game plan 100%, but I listened to a decent amount, so I think I satisfied it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he hit it well. He acted like to watch his body language and stuff. You would think that you were following his plan to a T. So
Yeah, I mean to a certain extent I was supposed to throw more kicks, but
more kicks, nice.
yeah,
There you go.
we'll get there maybe eventually.
I don't know if you listened to our post fight thing where Ryan and Jim were saying about the body shots look like they were
Yeah,
there.
when he said that, I was like, yeah, I wanted to, but it's harder when you have a shorter opponent, right? It's like, I think I probably could have gone to the body more when he was on the cage. Maybe Doug did like that Aaron Pico liver shot off to the left side. But, I mean, I was landing really effectively when he was on the cage. I think maybe a couple jabs to the body would have worked well because he was shelling up, very boxing. It was a boxing and wrestling fight. And it was like, yeah, those were definitely there. And that's something I'll definitely keep in mind going forward.
Yeah. I think we talk about it a lot with you, man, but for like 2 fights of amateur experience, your comfort level in the cage is crazy. The way you just absorb, like Theo came out a million miles an hour
Yeah.
from the get-go, tried to get you
hot.
out of there ASAP, but you just like kind of rolled with it. Didn't look like it phased you much at all.
Dude, I'm happy he came out that hot because like I the whole day I just wasn't feeling like 100%, like 70%, and then like he put me in the fight or flight mode right away, and I was like, oh, okay, we're fighting. But I watched that like it's 20 seconds of him just sprinting at me. He threw like 25 punches and landed like 3. I threw 3 and landed 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
We're good.
accuracy.
It matters.
Yeah.
That's why I call you the sniper, right?
Yeah. You got to pick and choose.
Drum. There you go. Sometimes, so if you ever want to emphasize a point, we got some sounds loaded up there. Sometimes you gotta cue him. We got like applause. We got a little like when you make a joke. Yeah, there we go. See, we got a little soundboard. I think we should so you can record custom sounds on that too. Like you can just talk into the mic and then it'll loop that. I think we should each fighter that comes in should record their own sound. And then we can have
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I don't know. I got to flesh this idea out more.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
There's something there. You know how radio stations always do hey, this is Lucas Seibert and you're listening to the 93.7 The Fan or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We could have them all record something like that. Then in the intro, you guys are all there. We should do that. Mark that down, Danny Palm. I have good ideas once in a while. But for you, man, moving forward, I think the Theo fight, perfect example from your debut to that one. Perfect step up in competition, right?
Yeah, no, he was super game, and I knew going in that he was tough. His record was super deceiving. One, because he was actually 2-2. I don't know what happened in the one that was unsanctioned or whatever, but I mean he's 50-50 guy, and then he's from New York, Brooklyn, New York. I was like, oh, it's gonna be
tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be scrap, and he was a wrestler too, so I think that was all right, well, I can sprawl and brawl a little bit. So, I think it was a perfect step up. I want a little bit of a step up here for my next one too.
Yeah.
So just progressively step up at least in the Amis, and then get a little bit more picky and choosy when you go pro. But I think the level is important to take a step up every time.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think we need to make not necessarily a plea, but put it out there on the podcast. You're trying to get matched right now, dude. It's tough to find you fights, and we knew we were going to have this. I don't want to say we got lucky on the first two, but we did match you quickly the first two times. This time's a little more of a struggle for you, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the first dude, I was like, okay, all right, well, I'm down. I think him being across the border or not having a lot of social media was a big thing for getting that fight. And then Theo, I think if you were hey, we have Peter Yan, he would have been oh yeah, I'm down.
Yeah,
so,
right.
All credit to that dude. He's a killer. And whoever takes the fight for the third one, I'd be super appreciative. But I think with the novice AMI, it's hard, especially in PA. So it's you're almost the pool's not as big.
Right.
But I mean, I'm sure we'll get one.
Yeah, you said something really interesting on Instagram that I actually screenshotted and sent to Ryan and Jim. You mentioned how you're playing chess, not checkers. Somebody's you need to get out of Pennsylvania so you can ground and pound. And you're yeah, I would probably be better with ground and pound, but without it, it forces me to work on what I need to work on. That's amateurs don't think like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I especially with Coleman as my coach, right? So
yeah, right, the godfather of ground and pound.
Yeah, it's you got the godfather of ground and pound as your head coach, and he's yeah, just even my debut, he's just take him down and beat him up. Right, you do it in practice all the time. And I was yeah, yeah, you don't know the rule set, but yeah, no, I think that the rule set for these novice AMI fights in PA they're not advantageous for me at all.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, that's objectively true. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it challenges me to I have to get better at striking, which is obviously as a wrestler my weak area. And then once we start to branch out, I think 3 fights is the perfect amount to all right, focus on your striking. You're fighting guys that have less than 3 fights or a winning record or whatever it is. But that's the perfect opportunity to not just get a double leg smash, and then get out of there in the first round. Which I mean, in reality, I know a lot of dudes that have been in the game. I probably could have just fought in Ohio for my first 4 fights and gone pro and done the thing, but I want to be ready when I go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it shows in your fights, man. Like we said, your stand-up. I don't think if I didn't know you, I didn't know anything about your background, and I was just watching your debut, I probably would have thought you were a striker. You look super smooth. Nothing about it looked like somebody trying to learn. I mean, you've seen amateur fighters who clearly have never struck before. You look very smooth, throwing kicks, throwing punches, throwing a variety of stuff, freaking spinning back kick to the body. That seems to be your thing. I don't know, man. It's just impressive to see how fast you picked up on striking. Is this just from your time in Immortal? When did striking start to click for you?
I I wouldn't say I would say like so another big thing is like I've only done this for maybe combined, like if you combine all the time, less than a year, striking at least.
That's crazy.
So, because I would train like I would train. I started training like the summer of COVID, so 2020 for like 3 months with striking, and another summer for 3 months, and
Right.
then I graduated and started training from May to now, so like less than a year total.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, like the 6 months. And yeah, we're about a year now with striking, and then with Immortal, it was almost like obviously it, like learning the basics, right? And I didn't get to really like deep dive into stuff. When I got to Stout, it was almost like, all right, Will watched me for a little bit, and he's like just pointing out these things, and I was like, okay. So I almost built from the ground up when I got back to Stout, like in July, which I think my like if you watch it from my fight in July to my fight in October, like no, I think my striking looks night and day different, but that's, I mean, I'm obviously an insider, but I think my first fight I was just super chaotic. Just kind of had like a little bit of ignorance is bliss.
Something
And
to
just,
that,
yeah,
man.
I agree.
John Jones coming out of the gates against Shogun with a flying knee, like he didn't know better. Like he was just doing, you know, I think being a little arrogant, like you said, ignorance is bliss. Like there's something to that for sure.
Yeah, I think that in a lot of stuff. And like I obviously I have that sports psychology background. I work with wrestling mindset, and like I talk to all these kids and they're so in their head, and I'm like, well, how do like the high level guys perform? And then I'm like, well, they don't think about it. It's kind of just second nature.
Right.
And to a certain point, like the ignorance is bliss kind of takes over, and it's just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go out and do my thing.
How do you trust yourself to do that though? Like I just heard Demetrius Johnson talking about that as well. He said that his coach Matt Hume would always tell him that just stop thinking. Like DJ's biggest problem is that he would overthink things instead of just like your body knows what to do, knows how to do these moves. Just let it happen.
Yeah, I think so. My first fight, I was thinking a lot. This second fight, like I said, I didn't feel great all day. I didn't feel woken up until he hit me in like the first, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But like then it just kind of took over. Like I got a takedown, landed some ground and pound. He got up, and then I was like, all right, well, and then I just started landing, and I was like, oh, we're here now, right? Like you do train it every day, twice a day, so it's gonna take over eventually. You're just gonna kind of take over, I guess.
For sure. We got to talk about the roll. Ryan called it a monkey roll, and commentators called it a Granby roll.
Yeah, it's a Granby.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so another thing about fighting is like you don't remember a single thing that happened until you rewatch it, because somebody, I think, minutes after my fight, like I went to the crowd and like saw my family, my girl and stuff, and somebody told me about the Granby, and I was like, I literally don't remember that.
Didn't know you did it?
Like I knew I did it, but like I forgot.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
right.
oh yeah. In my head, that was the closest round. I thought I won it. I actually asked Mike after the round, but I like in my head I heard the clap, and then I was like, if I end this round on top, I'm probably gonna win it. And like I just kind of nonchalantly walked to the center and just rolled. And
it was super smooth, bro. Like
Yeah.
it looked so good.
Yeah, like the Bo Nickel quote. I've been hitting that since I was 8 years
Yeah.
old. That one broke my heart when he pinned the Ohio State guy in the finals. But like, yeah,
Broke your heart. Nice.
Yeah.
Are you an Ohio State guy?
Dude, I'm from Columbus.
Well, I
born
know
and
that. I
raised.
know that, but I
Huge
mean,
Ohio State
went
fan.
to WVU. I thought
Huge Ohio
maybe.
State fan. I mean, both.
Still in your blood. Okay.
Both. Oh yeah, I'm the biggest Ohio State fan. As far as like football and stuff, my room growing up was scarlet and gray. Like I love the Buckeyes.
Nice.
Love the Buckeyes.
I don't think like there's not a huge Ohio State rivalry here in Pittsburgh. Like obviously Penn State, yeah.
Ohio
Obviously
State, Penn
State,
State
yeah.
definitely is like a big rivalry.
Yeah, I mean that's intense, right?
Yeah, but no, I don't see any reason. I mean, we never play like Ohio State never plays West Virginia. Ohio State never plays Pittsburgh.
Yeah, thank God for both WVU and Pitt that they don't.
Yeah, dude, Ohio State should have played West Virginia in the national championship game in 2007. Were you in school when that happened?
Yeah, I was 13-9. It was actually a year before I was already like going to WVU, but I was a senior in high school.
That should have been the Buckeyes versus West Virginia, and then Ohio State would have won the national championship.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I remember that. I had a basketball tournament my senior year. I got MVP of the basketball tournament, and then my band was playing that same night. So it was like my best day ever. Like I just won MVP. My band's playing, like we're all partying, and then WVU lost. I was like, why would you ruin my best
the pit?
Yeah, dude.
That was McAfee's fault, wasn't it?
I mean, debatably, yeah, he missed a kick, but
I love McAfee. So
yeah, they lost by 4 ultimately, so it's hard to totally blame him. But yeah, I mean.
All the details.
13-9. I mean, 13-9 is a huge thing here.
Really?
That was the score of the game. Yeah. So.
And that was when they had who was the quarterback? Pat White.
Yeah. It may have been Gino. Was it Pat White? No, it was Pat White. It was Pat White for sure. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Definitely Pat. Those were good teams, though. They were exciting teams. So, did you follow WVU even then? Okay. You just learned about it once you were
college football fan because I grew up an Ohio State fan. Like
right.
College football is like I don't really care about the NFL. A lot of people in Pittsburgh are big, obviously NFL fans.
It's a little crazy here, yeah.
Yeah, I like the way Pittsburgh is about the Steelers and the Penguins. That's the way Columbus is about Ohio State. Like,
right,
they're just
the
town shuts down. The gas station's the only thing that are open during Ohio State games. So like I grew up a huge Ohio State fan, but. Yeah, no, I always paid attention to college football.
Nice.
Sure.
What took you to WVU?
So, I mean, I wasn't like a highly touted recruit by any means. I was ranked in the state like pretty high a couple times, and I would like have like a mental breakdown and lose. That happened my sophomore and junior year, and then my senior year I finally qualified. I was super injured, but I gutted through it, qualified. There was a Gardner Webb coach, Cody Walters, who Gardner Webb's a very small Division I school in Charlotte, North Carolina. My family lives there. Went out. I kind of beat up one of their like biggest recruits at a recruiting thing. Cody ends up leaving Gardner Webb and going to WVU.
Okay.
WVU's in the middle of a coaching change, and I was actually WVU. I was Flynn's first visit at WVU.
Nice.
Like he didn't know the passwords to like half of the codes to get into like the football stadium, or like he's walking us around and he's like texting people. He's like, I don't know
That's hilarious.
Yeah, like he did not know anything.
Totally
I was the only
on
one
the
that
fly.
knew.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is like really there. Gardner Webb were like the only Division I schools that like even were open to taking me as a walk on, and like. I was like, oh, this is cool still. And the high level recruits are probably like, this is so unprofessional.
Yeah. You were just stoked to be there.
Yeah. And I mean, it was Flynn's like literal. I think he was there for 5 days.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And I ended up going to WVU, walked on. It was a rough 4 years, but we made it through it.
You were injured as well throughout college, right? Like that was kind of always a theme.
Yeah.
Your senior year especially?
Yeah, so my freshman year, I was awful. Like I said, like I had no credentials at all. My freshman year, I get there, get maybe a takedown through, August through December. I maybe got one, maybe two. It was like one kid that I would actually go back and forth with. And then like I ended up starting a match against Pitt because a bunch of people made weight. I'm wrestling Mickey Philippi, who's ranked, I think he was like 5th in the country. Next day, he beats Dayton Fix, who's number 1. I wrestle him. He beats the crap out of me. But like, I think I got like a takedown or something. And the coaches were like, "What?
Whoa,
yeah,
like that happened."
Yeah, they're like, "This kid sucks." But so my sophomore year, I'm projected to be probably like 4th string, and then I just watched like we had one kid Olympic red shirt, one kid like miss weight, and then one kid like not be able to make it, and just like life happened, right? It's Division I wrestling program. It's so cutthroat, and I ended up being I ended up wrestling off somebody that I could beat. I ended up being a starter, and like I didn't have a great record, but I ended up kind of doing that, and then I get to Big 12s, and I end up placing at Big 12s, and kind of qualified for 24 hours. And then,
That's a wild story, by the
Yeah,
way. You got to come back to that.
yeah. And then, so my junior year, it's COVID year, and there's just a lot of, you want a story on how cutthroat college wrestling is? One of my best friends, Joey Thomas, Joe Fro, he's like the all-time winning Maryland high school wrestler. We're literal like almost best friends at the time. I used to pick him up, take him to practice. I have to wrestle him off for the starting spot. I have to pick him up, take him to practice. We go into triple overtime. I beat him. Coaches are like, we want to do a best 2 out of 3. So I drive him back, pick him up.
Oh my god.
We go into triple overtime. He beats me.
Oh dear
I drive him
God.
back, pick him up. At 7 o'clock, nobody's there. We go into triple overtime again. He beats me, and I'm heartbroken.
Yeah.
Tears, because I was like, all right, I get to redeem myself from last year. Worked so hard. I'm driving. He's like, bro, I can like walk back, and I'm like, no, bro. And I'm just crying, driving him back to his apartment after we just.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like that's how cutthroat college wrestling is. Like, imagine your best friend, and then imagine like, all right, well, you're in front of my goals.
Yikes.
That's how cutthroat college wrestling is.
That's crazy, man. You always hear like guys at the UFC level, even like, I would never fight a teammate unless it's for the title. They always do so. So that's kind of your position. Like, you guys had to.
Yeah, now I'm 100% like that. I wouldn't fight a teammate. In fighting's even worse, right? Because you're in a fist
gonna
fight.
hurt him, yeah.
But like, yeah, that's so cutthroat. Like me and
insane.
Joe, I love telling that story because people are like, oh my god. Like, I'm like, imagine your best friend that you hang out with every day and being like, I have to break your dreams.
Was it pretty smooth after? Like, was it awkward for you guys a couple days later?
No, straight. It was fine.
That's crazy. I mean, I guess wrestling your whole lives, you guys understand the game. Like, that's
it's
how it goes,
man. But that's my junior year. He ends up losing to like a really, really good kid that comes in the later part of the year. And then my senior year, I was supposed to start 33. So it was like a rough cut to get down. And then I tore my LCL and MCL. So I'm wearing this big, huge brace. And I was like, I'm sitting out a tournament. Flint calls me up, my coach, and is like, hey, our 41 has some kind of skin disease. Do you think you can wrestle? And the athletic trainer was like, no, you shouldn't do that. And I was like, but I can. I definitely can. Ugh. And at the time, I was supposed to wrestle like the number 5 kid, and I ended up wrestling his backup. But I was like, sure. And I was like 8 pounds over 141, which I was like 150 when he called me because I was supposed to wrestle.
Sure.
I have a bad knee, and I like go cut weight, make weight, go wrestle, and I get turf toe, tear my toe. At the on the last shot. So rehab that, come back. I finally get to start a match in February. 10 seconds in, we get in a scramble. It's against like number 12 kid in the country. I'm like, all right, this is my shot. I can beat this kid. This is gonna be perfect. Go out, get in a wrestling match, or get in like a scramble, solid wrestling scramble. Kid takes my back. I go to hit the exact same Granby I hit in the that fight. And I kind of like lull him to sleep and then go to roll. My leg gets caught, tear my hamstring.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude.
That was my senior year of wrestling.
How bad is a hamstring injury? That just seems crazy.
I didn't tear it off the bone.
Okay. That's what you always hear, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, no, I didn't. But I still can't like jog.
Really?
100%. Yeah, it still like bothers me a little bit. Probably didn't rehab it right, but whatever. But yeah, no, it hurt. It hurt bad. And as soon as it happened, I was like, I just gotta not give up bonus points in this match. Like, it wasn't like at that point, it's like, I'm probably not gonna win.
That's nuts, man. I always heard that turf toe lingers really badly too. You see football players that like literally can't come back.
That was the worst injury I ever had in my life.
Really?
Yeah. That I rehabbed very, very, very diligently. They told me that if I got it was so bad that they told me I could get surgery. I completely tore it. It felt like a grenade just went off in my foot, like the little ball of your big toe, and there's a ligament that runs underneath it, and it completely tore. And they're like, yeah, you can get surgery. You're not gonna wrestle if you do, or you can try to rehab it and maybe come back. And I was like, well, I'm definitely gonna rehab it and maybe come back. That was
How do you
don't give me that
question?
option.
Dumb question. Yeah.
But dude, I was super diligent about that. Luckily, we got like this underwater treadmill at WVU at that exact same like month. So
Nice.
that helped me a lot.
That's huge.
Yeah, my trainer, we were just super adamant about working it together. But yeah,
How do you rehab a toe? I gotta,
dude, I have some funny. So I have a bunch of TikToks about it actually, of, like when I was in college, and one of them, it's like me picking up marbles with my toes and putting them in a bucket. It's so funny.
That's wild.
Yeah, I think TikTok took it down because I had a graphic picture of my foot, and that's how they work.
I gotcha.
But yeah, it's like me picking up marbles, putting them in some weird stuff.
Got like monkey feet now. Can you use your feet like hands now that you've done all this?
If I didn't have anything and you dropped a marble, I could definitely.
You got this?
Yeah, I got it. And a thing for me that's like super weird is like if I have one side of my body hurt, I have to do it on the other side. So I'd be there longer, and my trainer would be like, "Why are you doing that on your right foot? It doesn't make sense."
Dude, maybe it's gonna help you at some point. Like, in a grappling transition, you can like use your foot like a hand.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. So I got to back up to Big 12s because this is a wild story for you. Can you break that scenario down for the...
So I was thinking about this, and I was like, this is probably going to come up. So going into the Big 12 tournament my sophomore year, I was like, I mean, my record's awful. You can go look at my wrestle stat. It's bad. It was like, I mean, we have a Big 12 schedule. I was like 5-15, like very bad record. Maybe 6-15 or 7. But so I go into the tournament. I'm 12th in the Big 12, ranked 12th in the Big 12. There's like a couple guys that I was like, yeah, well, I lost by a couple points. I first round draw number 1 seed, obviously, because I was 12th, or draw the number 2 seed actually, because it was randomized. But I'm 12th. But before the tournament even starts, Flynn gets us all in the hotel room. Is like, all right, are they gonna wrestle true place matches for these weight classes? And he goes, they're not doing it for 133. So if you place top 8, you qualify. And I was like, okay. My bracket worked. I only had to win 1 match. So I lost to the second guy. My second match, I wrestled a dude who beat me like 12-0 earlier in the season. But I got so much better from the beginning of my sophomore year to the end of my sophomore year. I beat him. Like I ended up beating him in overtime. Nice. But like I was winning the whole match, and he kind of broke, and I was like, all right, I got him on the ropes. Took him down, won in overtime. I qualified for the NCAA tournament that night. I have another match, lose that one. It was kind of close against a really good kid. And then the next day, I wrestle an Oklahoma State guy for 8th place. He beats me. I lose that one. I do better than I did last time. I'm like, all right, NCAA qualifier.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh my God. Like Noah Adams, who's one of my like super close friends, was ranked 2nd in the country at the time. And me, we're the qualifiers. My record, again, is like 7-20. I'm, kind of celebrating. My girlfriend flew in all the way from West Virginia, and my mom all the way to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we're at this sushi restaurant, and Flynn calls me, and he's like, hey. I was like, what? He was like, the number 1 seed goes 2 and out at the tournament. He's like, he wants to wrestle you for the true 8th spot. And I was like, what? And he's like, I'm telling them you're not doing it. We're going to go to a vote, this, that, and the other. And it came down to the point, like Flynn came in they do a vote. Right before they do the vote, Flynn comes in my hotel room, and he's like, do you want to wrestle him? And I was like, I mean, I'm not a bitch. Like, he's definitely going to beat me, but like, I'm going to go out on my sword. And he's like, all right, well, like, worst comes to worst. Are you sure? And I was like, 100%. Like, I'm not going to forfeit and hope. Because there was a shot, like, if I forfeited, I might be able to argue with the seating criteria or whatever. I was like, no, I'm going to wrestle him. And that's crazy. So they do a vote between all the teams. It's Big 12. It ties 6-6. And the commissioner, I think what happened was the dude for the commission, the Big 12, was like, this kid's 7-20.
Can't have him.
I'm going to let him in the NCAA tournament. But, I mean, yeah, no. So it ends up tying. I end up having to wrestle the number 1 seed who was like damn near undefeated the whole year. at the but I wrestled him on the stage like right before the first place match. Like it was so like out of pocket. Like it was so weird. Like people are coming in for the first place matches. Like it starts at 6 o'clock. We wrestled off at 5:45.
Oh,
And the worst part
so
about it
wild.
is that dude was gonna get into the tournament anyway
yeah.
because of the way the NCAAs works. Like he's still getting in. And the dude, so he gets in, he got 9th technically, and the dude that got 10th got in, and I got 8th and I didn't.
I don't get it. I don't follow this at all. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
no, it
lie.
makes no sense.
That is
Yeah,
insane.
the first like headline I ever got was like, kid gets screwed out of NCAA wrestling
That's
tournament.
you.
Ben
That's you.
Askren, Ben
Nice.
Askren was talking about it the week after. Funny thing is, the tournament never even happened, so screw that kid.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Is he fight? Did you follow him? Does he fight now?
No,
Oh.
he's in his like 8th year.
Sounds like me in college.
Yeah,
Nice.
no, he's in his like, I mean, COVID, man. But
That's
yeah,
true,
no,
yeah.
he's still doing good. He All-American like the year after, but I mean, he
Nice.
was a good guy, like good wrestler, but I don't know what he was thinking that day.
That's nuts, man. I mean, that's unfortunate, but I'm sure like the learning experiences were like that story's better
Yeah.
than whatever would have happened.
Yeah, that's true.
think, yeah.
I mean, having the credential NCAA qualifier, what it probably would have done would have probably satisfied me because I was not I wasn't supposed to make that far.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't, so I probably would have been like, oh, I'm an NCAA qualifier, but I got so close and didn't accomplish it that it was like,
you
yeah.
were never considering it, but then when it was right there, you're like, oh yeah, I really want that now.
yeah, well, like that was always the goal when I got to college. It was like, all right, make it to the NCAA tournament, go wrestle in the big dance, right?
Yeah,
go,
that's
go,
sweet.
Go perform at the big tournament, and then my junior and senior year, it was like, all right, prove that you belong. And I think if I would have wrestled my junior and senior year, I would have. I think I would have qualified. I think I would have done decent. I got just insanely better between my sophomore and junior year because that Big 12 thing kind of lit a fire under my ass.
Sure.
But I think with what happened to me my junior and senior year brought me to fighting because like I realized like I am good enough, and B, I realized like I still have more in me. So
Right.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna transition into fighting, which really wasn't the plan. I mean, it kind of just happened.
Yeah. When you come right into fighting, were you kind of like a wrestler learning how to fight, or did you have like this scrappy fighting instinct already?
I definitely, if you ask my teammates, definitely have the scrappy fighting. I've probably gotten the most fights in the wrestling room of anybody that's ever wrestled at my high school or my college.
Nice.
I just kind of like have that like
Edge.
Just that, like I feel like I'm very like chill and nonchalant, but like when we're competing, it's like I feel like a lot of people aren't willing to go there, and I was always willing to go there. So yeah, I mean, I guess I always had that little fighting instinct. Like I grew up and UFC was like I said, I'm a huge Ohio State fan, but I mean, and I like football a lot, but like UFC was my, like I was playing with UFC action figures. I wasn't playing with like Spider-Man, and like, I had like Rashad Evans. I had a Mark Coleman action figure. I still have it.
That's
that one,
freaking
actually.
nuts. Does he know that?
GSP.
I'm assuming he knows you have one.
He was showing me it because he was signing them. And he had him in the like the box and stuff, and he was showing it to me one day right before we drove up to Strong Style, and I was like, I have that in my room.
That's so
because I
sick.
found it after I met him, and he started becoming like my actual coach, and we're like,
Right.
I mean, me and Mark are pretty close now, and like that's one where it's like that's weird, dude. Like you were like I had your action figure when I was a kid. Now I text you. That's
odd. Was there ever a starstruck moment? Because like you said, being a huge UFC fan, now you got Matt Brown and Mark Coleman in your corner, like kind of crazy.
Kind of a star. Every once in a while, like I'll have these moments in my life where I like look around and I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? The first one ever happened to me when I wrestled at Oklahoma State, and I look over, I just got thrown on my back in the Oklahoma State, like Stillwater, the packed ass arena, small mat, cheerleaders on the mat, ride 'em cowboy, like it's just going crazy. I look over and I see John Smith in the other corner, and like in the back of my head I was like, dude, what the
That's
fuck?
nuts.
What are you doing here?
That's nuts.
But the other moment was me and Josh and this is at a practice. It's just me and Josh. We used to get there at like 10 on days that like 10 a.m. and we would just scrap, and Mark would come in. And I don't know what Mark did that day or day before, but he decided that, or how many Red Bulls he drank that day, but he decided me and Josh were doing like a 30-minute grind fight. Like we were just going to scrap.
Oh, damn.
And like I'm like, kind of, me and Josh are just going, and like Coleman's yelling at me, and I hear him start yelling ground and pounding like in the back of my head.
Oh,
in the back of my head, I
sick.
had the second time in my life, I was like, what's going on right now?
Mark Coleman is telling me to
Yeah,
ground
I
and
was
pound
like,
right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Dude,
no,
that's sick.
no, I don't have too many like starstruck moments. But that's definitely one where it's like, what?
Yeah. As you continue your MMA career, like who is a fighter that you would love to spar with? Like who would be your dream sparring session?
Dream sparring session. So all right, I like this question because I grew up. I was a huge TJ Dillashaw fan.
All right.
I actually was a huge TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt fan, which we talked about.
Yeah,
before
I
on the
remember talking
podcast.
about that. Yeah.
Which is cool because now I work with Bob Meese a little bit on the weekends. So I would love to work with Cody.
The Stingray.
Yeah,
I love him, dude.
he's such
His
a good
jab
guy.
is a thing of beauty. He
Dude,
has an
he'll
artistic
like
jab,
show.
dude.
Have you ever seen the videos of Tyson like when he's in his 50s and he like does his shadow boxing?
Yeah.
He does that, and I'm like,
Dude,
he's like a little like he's just like so
He's so legit.
fast and scrappy.
He's
I'm
got
like,
that
wow.
fast twitch like crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
I would say either of those two. I can't pick anybody that's still in the UFC because I think I'm gonna end up fighting them.
Nice.
I legitimately think I'm gonna end up fighting them. So I'm gonna stay old school. As far as sparring sessions, I don't know if I'd want to spar with Frankie Edgar, but I would love to fight Frankie Edgar. Dominic Cruz would probably be a fun one, just because like picking his brain would be fun.
For sure. You
yeah.
guys have a really similar build at 135, you and Dom, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I get a lot of. Oh, Max Holloway is my favorite fighter, and he's 145. So I
Can
guess
see
I can
that.
say him. Max Holloway is my favorite. Max and O'Malley, like now,
Yeah.
were like the two guys that like almost got me back into the sport.
Nice.
Yeah. So Max would be sick.
Why were you falling out of love with the sport? You say like
I just get so busy. I get so caught up in wrestling that like
Right.
I don't have any time. I mean, I was always like up to date, like I knew.
Sure.
I knew what was going on, but like, I think Holloway's rise was really cool, and then that started to get me back in, and then I started watching O'Malley's like podcast or something. He might have been on like Joe Rogan, like
I think he was. Yeah.
2018 or
Sure.
something, and that got me into it. And then
Okay.
I watched him like. I was like, dude, this little skinny white boy. I was like, I'm a skinny white guy.
I can relate. Yeah.
I was like, oh. And then I watched him just take off and like end up being like,
That's awesome.
Now he's number one in the world. I'm like, what?
Is he getting the title shot? Did they confirm that?
I don't think he should.
Danny Palm.
I don't think he is.
It's not confirmed, but
Okay.
He shouldn't fight. He shouldn't fight Aljo. If
You don't think?
I think he should fight Cheeto again. I think he should fight Cheeto
Ooh.
again. I think he should fight Cheeto again. Henry and Aljo should fight. Winner goes to 145 because Aljo doesn't want to stay at 135. Aljo wants Marab at 135.
Right. Exactly. That's true.
Henry wants to go to 145 and fight Volkanovski.
I like that.
but
I
what
like
about say O'Malley beats Aljamain and then you do Cheeto versus O'Malley for the belt?
Yeah, I mean that's an option. I just don't. I think even O'Malley might have said that's the worst matchup on earth. Like TJ was arguably worse, maybe. TJ doesn't offensively wrestle that much,
Right,
and I could
right.
see TJ falling into a striking battle.
Mm-hmm.
Aljo's gonna wrestle you, dude.
Yeah.
Like I don't know really necessarily how great O'Malley's grappling is, but Aljo takes your back. It's game over.
Dude, Aljo, his grappling, I haven't seen a bantamweight grapple like that. Like,
I knew Aljo was gonna be the champ early.
yeah.
I knew Aljo was going to be the champ before he fought Cody or Corey Sandhagen, and then as soon as he tapped Corey Sandhagen, I was like, oh, he's 100%. It just made stylistically, and this is something I might have said it here. Like you look at the bantamweights, TJ Dillashaw had the best wrestling credentials, and he was a NCAA qualifier twice, maybe.
Yeah.
Aljamain has the second best. That's why, like, I look at the bantamweights and I'm like, I have the best wrestling credentials.
Like technically,
Like,
yeah.
like yeah,
That's
especially
nuts.
if TJ leaves. Like that's
That's kind
pretty
of
cool.
crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is. Why that weight class isn't just loaded with wrestlers like everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, as far as and this is a big thing that I think a lot of wrestlers don't realize. Wrestling and MMA wrestling are not the same thing. at all. The
Right.
best MMA wrestler of all time never put on a singlet. And that's George St. Pierre.
Yep.
He never put on a singlet. Khabib arguably was the second best, and he was a sambo. He wasn't like a traditional freestyle wrestler, from what I know. So like, there's a big difference between the two.
That's super true. Yeah.
So I think a lot of wrestlers fall into the I'm a wrestler, so I can go. And to a certain degree, you can until you go against the high level guys. I think Bellator has a lot more wrestlers.
It seems like they target them intentionally. I was kind of surprised. Like I expected Bo Nickel to go to Bellator, honestly.
I love what Bo Nickel's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's somebody I got to make my way out to State College. I don't know how far away it is, but like I want to train.
It's like 2 hours.
Top team out there. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not bad, dude. It's actually a really easy drive too.
Yeah. But I love what Bo Nickel's doing. And I think to a certain extent, like your striking can look better if you have such a good wrestling background, because people are so scared you're going to double leg him that you can throw that overhand right or overhand left in his case and spark somebody.
And drop them, yeah.
Yeah. So I love what Bo Nickel's doing for the sport too. Like he's very well thought out. He's intelligent, and he's right to the fact where he's like, I think he could compete for a title right now.
Yeah.
I think he becomes that. Or yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I really do. I think Izzy's the worst matchup in the division for him, so maybe not. But I do think
Izzy's a bad matchup for everybody.
I agree.
Except for maybe Alex Pereira.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only matchup that Izzy might lose. But Bo Nickel would take Alex Pereira down and ground and pound him and beat the crap out of him.
Yeah. It's an interesting thought, man. I always like watching wrestlers transition, especially when they do, like for you, like showing off your striking a lot. It's always exciting to know this guy's doing this, but this isn't even his strength. Like this isn't even what you would be as a pro, like you said.
Which is why I love it. I have a huge love-hate relationship with the novice rules, right? It's like, I mean, I don't have the ground and pound, take him down, ground and pound option, but it does make you, like, it makes you better.
Sure.
So, like, when I was presented with those, and I wanted to fight for you guys because Ethan Hayes told me, he was like, dude, they're a good promotion, these guys, and I was like, all right, well, I want to fight for them. I ended up moving to Pittsburgh right after, so it worked out really well. But I was like, well, these rules kind of suck. And Ethan's like, dude, it might be better for you because like you're gonna work on this stuff. I was like,
so true, man.
Okay.
That's
a good way to
40
look
chess
at it.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I'm out here playing chess.
Dude, as an
Most
amateur,
players.
that's the game. Like you're here for the experience. You're here to get ready for your pro career. It doesn't matter if you go 2-3 or 5-0. Like you reset at 0-0 when you turn pro.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, it's like, I wrote down my goals at the beginning of like in January. Number 1 was graduate college, and
Check.
I checked that one off. One was win a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, which I did like in May, as soon as I got off that hamstring injury, and I was like, oh, sick. So I want to win like a one at like black belt no gi, which
That's a goal right there, man.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think that's gonna be that might be next year. I think I could do it. And then 3-0 was the other goal.
Nice.
And I'm on my way there. Just got to get a fight in December. In reality, I wrote down 3 fights, right?
Yeah.
Because you've been the matchmaker. I was asking for the one nobody wanted. Like I was asking for the people nobody wanted to fight.
Right.
For a reason, because I want to be challenged. And then 2023 is gonna be like, it's gonna be me taking the hardest fights in the country at AME before I go pro.
Yeah, you're hard to match because of your credentials and your skill level. And now that you have tape out there, it's not helping matters.
Yeah.
But you're easy to match on the fact that you would just fight anybody that makes sense. If they say yes,
people I've ever said no to were I knew I was gonna move to Pittsburgh. You offered me Miguel, who's like ironically one of my best friends now, and Tim Bailey, who's like another one of my like really good training partners. those are the two people I've ever said no
Yeah,
to.
yeah. And this was before he moved to Pittsburgh, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, for the cameras, I wasn't trying to
Yeah,
go
no,
teammate versus teammate stuff.
Yeah, you offered me Miguel, and I was like, I looked at Miguel's Tapology. I was like, this dude trains at every gym in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he really
that
does.
I was thinking about. I
Yeah.
was between going to Stout and Factory, and I was like, I ended up at Stout. I cross train at Factory sometimes, but
Nice.
I was like, okay. And then he also went to 10th Planet Newark, which I knew people. I texted my boy, and he's like, hey, I'm not gonna lie, that's a tough fight, and also you're gonna train with them. He's like,
Yeah.
you guys would be way better off as training partners. And thank God I did not take that fight because Miguel would have sparked me.
Dude, Miguel's a savage. He's so talented. He's so talented. I've been trying to get him on one of our cards for a long time, so I was very happy that we locked it down for the last one.
Yeah, Miguel's the best. No, I mean, I've been around and I've trained with people on the other sides of the country. So Miguel's there.
Damn.
His record's super deceiving. Miguel's probably going to be pro mid next year. I hope. I mean, I think he could. I think he knocks out a couple of these next couple fights.
Yeah.
And like the thing about Miguel is he's super well rounded.
Right.
So well rounded.
That's what we always hear about him. Like, his boxing's a problem, but if you take him down, his jiu-jitsu is arguably a bigger problem. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, did you watch? I mean, you watched his last fight. That was
nuts.
the first fight I actually watched, like and like in person in my life, and I was super close to the cage, and it was Miguel, and as soon as he locked up that triangle and transitioned to the armbar,
It was so nice.
As soon as he took the dude down, I was like, oh,
this is a problem. Yeah.
This kid's gonna drown here.
Yeah, he's fighting I'll say it. He's fighting. It doesn't say who it is, but he's fighting. We haven't announced the fight yet. I almost just said it. Yeah, his next fight's against a BJJ brown belt.
Okay.
So that's I'm excited for that. Like,
well, Miguel's a Golden Glove champion.
just throwing that out there.
I'm just gonna keep that.
I like it though. It's a really good matchup for both of them. It really is a great fight. I'm excited for Miguel. Like, just having him in our cage for sure. That's a guy that I just like.
He's such a good guy, too.
Yeah.
Have you ever met his dad? I met his dad this weekend.
I didn't meet his
Nicest
dad.
dude in the world.
Nice. I could see that.
Yeah, no, Miguel's a super good guy. I love like my relationship with him is awesome because like we're super good training partners now, and like I have what he needs and he has what I need,
Nice.
so we could not be better. And Josh Pereira, my like old training partner in a way. I mean, he's still one of my best friends. Text him every day, but like he was a big striker, and I was a wrestler, and like me and Josh just kind of like.
Yeah.
Just went back and forth, and we helped each other so much. So I kind of have that relationship with Miguel now.
That's
It's
sick.
like a similar.
I love that.
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, it worked out really well. So thank God we didn't fight.
Yeah, for real, man. So for you, like being in Pittsburgh, I remember when you first moved, you said something like your girlfriend might move a lot with work. Is that still the plan, or are you here
dude.
for a while?
Well, we don't know yet. So
That's fun.
yeah, dude, it sucks. She is moving locations. If she moves, it's random. Like I don't know. I think we'll find out in the next couple weeks. If she moves to Erie, I think I'm gonna stay here, possibly live with Miguel, and train in Stout, in some capacity. If she moves to Texas, I'm gonna have to say bye to Pittsburgh for a little bit.
That's sad.
But yeah, I might be able
That's
to
sad.
book a flight for a fighter.
Yeah, there we go. We'll still book you, bro. We'll still
But
book
yeah,
you.
no,
I mean, they got Fury down there. They got promotions down there. There's
so
obviously.
Ideally, I fight for you guys like December,
Yeah.
February, and then I mean maybe for a belt eventually, and then maybe defend that once, fight for Fury and CFFC.
Nice.
Ideally, I get 3 to 4 next year, and then when the calendar flips, I'm pro.
That's a good map, dude.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
Did you write that down? Do you always write down your goals?
I'll write them down in January, I guess.
Okay.
I kind of like a weird thing with the whole fighting game is like you're so invested in one date. Like you guys told me, I got my fight booked when probably August.
Yeah.
I had a long time for this one.
Yeah,
I had
this
the
one
opponent,
was
he never changed.
Yep.
And I had the date and the opponent, and it's like, all right, that day comes. What's next?
Right.
It's like you have the week of celebrating and everything, and then or having
Right back to
fun.
it, yeah.
And it's just like, all right, well, what's next?
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
I'm looking for a date, hopefully in December, and it's just like, all right, well, then we sit down, we write down our goals. I do want to I'm gonna do the High Rollers wrestling tournament in
There you go.
January, because they're doing a wrestling tournament, and like I said,
Stout's all
sick.
about that life. Yeah.
my wrestling career did not end. I can't have my last match be me walking out with a torn hamstring.
Dude, that's yeah. Yeah.
So I might do the High Rollers wrestling tournament in January. But a big thing for me is I am not fighting in January. I want Christmas and New Year's with my family and my girl, because I have not had Christmas cookies and I have not eaten Christmas dinner since I was in 6th grade. So
Oh, that's nuts.
if any promoter tries to book me after December 17th, I am saying absolutely no.
Didn't even have to cue that one. He was just on the ball.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't even know. This just my ignorance. I didn't even know High Rollers did wrestling tournaments.
It's their
now.
first one.
Oh, it is. It's
Yeah,
the
no,
okay.
I saw it, and I don't know if you know how big of a fan of wrestling Mike Wilkins is.
Oh yeah, dude.
The biggest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I didn't know that until like a
biggest
couple
wrestling
days
nerd
ago.
you'll ever meet.
Yeah, the biggest wrestling nerd they've ever. And I like tagged him in, and I was like, bro.
I'm in.
Yeah, I was like, let's do this. And Mike like hit me up. He was like, bro, we got to like.
Is
yeah.
Mike doing it?
I don't know. I think he should.
He should, bro. He's a savage.
Yeah, dude. I honestly, this is the capital of the wrestling world.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
It's true.
We got to go out there and we got to represent.
You gotta represent Steel City for
right?
sure, man.
This is the best wrestling city, the best wrestling state in the entire country, if not the world. So we got to go out to Vegas and represent.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm excited to do that. Looking at fighting, and whenever you guys put on an event in early 2023, you guys know
Hell yeah.
any ideas on that?
Still working on February, so April 15th is confirmed though. So we know April 15th at the latest will be off our first, but we want a February as well.
Ideally, February would be perfect for me. And then my brother got engaged, so I got to figure out his wedding and stuff.
That's kind of important.
Yeah,
a little
that's
bit. Yeah.
super important. So I probably won't fight a 2 weeks before that, just in case I get banged up, or a month after, because I'm gonna be in fun mode for a little while.
Yeah, you got to live that one up, man.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm excited. 2023 is gonna be a fun year. 2022 is definitely the best year I've ever had. 2021 was the best one before that. So
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Always make
Just
next
keep-
year better than the last, right?
it's awesome, man.
Oh yeah, man. Well, it's been cool to watch your climb for sure. You know, we're honored to have your first 2 fights and hopefully your 3rd fight coming up for us. Your career is taking off for sure. Like the UFC.com article, like that did that surprise you that they did that?
Dude, I didn't know they were going to at all. That was so weird. I think so. That happened after we had our first talk, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So I mean, I signed with Sucker Punch when I had my torn hamstring. It was literally like 2 weeks after.
Mm-hmm.
I signed with Sucker Punch, which I think was a good move, you know, and I think it's really going to pay off here soon.
Mm-hmm.
And the UFC Fight Pass article came from that, and I'm still in contact with the guy that wrote that.
Nice.
And he sent like the video of me kind of piecing that dude up, him taking me down and me doing the Granby to Fury. And so
sick.
So like as far as amateurs into next year, like I have ties into Fury. I have a lot of ties that came from that. But that article was like such a surprise to me. He called me. We talked on the phone for like 40 minutes. And I was like, what? And like I was walking to class and I look at my Instagram DMs and I like go to like primary general, and then like the little +1. And I hit the +1. It says UFC Fight Pass. And I was like,
What?
I was like, this has to be fake. I click on it and I saw the like verification and like it's UFC. I was like, bro, what?
That's wild.
I'm 0-0.
Yeah, that was the craziest part. Was like you hadn't fought yet.
Yeah,
when that
and I
came
wasn't like I'm not a Bo Nickel. I'm not a RBY, and that was the big thing for him. He was like, you made it evident that you were gonna fight after you're done with
That's
college
sick.
wrestling, and he was like, and that's kind of what we want, because I went to NCAAs last year and I was talking to all these guys, would they fight, would they not, and they were all like, maybe.
And you were like,
And I was-
yeah, I am. I already know I am. Yeah.
And he was like, I looked at social media and I was like, oh, this kid's definitely gonna fight.
Yeah.
But I think there's a new wave of guys that are and you guys have had it with Caden Cassidy, who's also with Sucker Punch, by the way. Like guys that are kind of fighting in amateurs while they're in their wrestling career.
Yeah.
And it takes a certain coach to allow that.
Right.
But, James Leto.
I was just going to say him. Yeah, he's the other one.
Brett Whitman, he wrestles at Clarion. He's with Gear, actually.
Nice.
So, like, I think there's that wave of guys that start transitioning about halfway through is going to be better than the wave that we had where it's like I wrestled all 6 years and then now I'm 24 and I'm going to learn how to throw a punch.
It's like, no, I've already been learning that in the off season and now I'm ready to go. Yeah, you can tell a big difference, man.
Yeah, you look at where you're going to be having a conversation with James Leto this time next year and he's going to be 4-0 and it's going to be the exact same thing.
I can't wait.
Yeah, he's
such a stud.
Yeah, he's a gangster.
Yeah, dude. Caden Cassidy got a knockout win in his first.
I didn't see his. I didn't. I never watched his fight. Is he?
It's on our site. Well, all of our fights are on stream247live.com for all the 247 Fighting Championships footage. That Caden Cassidy fight's on there, obviously, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, Caden's
nasty.
a killer.
It was nasty.
His wrestling. He's young though.
Mm-hmm.
He's only sophomore.
I think he's a sophomore. Yeah,
maybe redshirt sophomore.
Danny Palm probably knows better than us. Do you know off the top of your head?
So I think eligibility wise, he might still be a freshman.
Okay.
Yeah, he might be redshirt.
There you go.
He might COVID year, and then that's how it works now.
That's
dude.
Crazy,
I'm only 22, and like there's kids that are still wrestling in college. My roommate is like from last year, Killian Cardinal. I think he turns 25 like next week. And
That's
he's still
nuts.
wrestling.
That's nuts. Yeah, I mean, COVID jacked everything up where that's concerned.
Yeah, I'm sure it didn't have the best impact on you. I don't know how long you guys were out, but like COVID kind of messed everybody up, kind of gave everybody a reason. And I look at the fighters, I mean, talk about a good time to join fighting. Like everybody hasn't fought for like 2 years, so it's like their records aren't too like I'm not missing out. Like there's a way bigger pool now than there would have been.
Yep,
because
for sure.
People didn't get those fights out of the way. To end up being pros. So the pool's huge right now. So it's a perfect time to join.
That's a good point.
Fighting.
Ryan has. We'll save the COVID story, but there's definitely a good 247 COVID story, and Ryan's got to tell it just because he was there. I wasn't even with the company at all at that point.
When did you join?
Almost exactly a year ago.
Okay.
Like a year and 2 months at this point, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so like the day the world shut down, whatever it was, March like 20th, whatever that was.
It was March 7th because I was in the airport on the way back from Big 12s, and my birthday is also March 9th.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
It was rough. Yeah, I remember those dates perfectly.
So there was a 247 show scheduled for the Saturday when all the regulations came down.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, so they literally canceled the event. This was after weigh-in, after everything. And then they were like, sorry, you can't have a show.
Yeah, it would have been March 7th would have been Friday. March 8th would have been the Saturday. And March 9th was a Sunday. I was at the airport on my birthday on the way back from Big 12s.
That's so nuts.
Not sure if I qualified for NCAAs or not.
Like still just wondering.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit salty.
You guys should let Luke. He probably still doesn't know. Like, has anybody told you whether or not you qualified?
When are we having this tournament?
He's been staying in shape. He's ready to go.
When are we having this tournament?
Ah, nice.
That was the best one.
Did he cricketed me? Danny Palm just cricketed me. Dang, that's probably my sign to get out of here. We've taken up enough of your time, man. Yeah, I appreciate you stopping in, bro. I hope you like the studio.
Dude,
it's sick to get you in here.
The studio's sick. I feel like I'm on Joe Rogan Experience.
That's good. That's what we want to do. You know, we want to be the Joe Rogan Experience of Pittsburgh minus getting canceled. So we'll work on that.
Hey, you ain't too canceled right now.
No, dude. Joe. I still like Joe Rogan a lot.
You guys do just about everything the best. Like
thanks, man.
The events, everything. This is perfect, super professional. So
thanks, dude. You guys. It means a lot to us. And we appreciate guys like you too, always signing the contract, getting in there, putting on a show, man. We know a Lucas Seibert fight's not going to be boring. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Well, we look forward to the next one. Any 135, 140, 145 even out there who wants a piece of this, hit us up. He's looking to fight, wants to sign something. We'll get it done.
In December.
Let's go.